Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 6 starts off with Shikamaru talking to the two oldest bats in Konoha, which is Koharu and Hamura. And basically they're telling him about the situation with Boruto. It's like, we need to kill Boruto. He's a traitor. He killed the 7th Hokage. He's a traitor to Konoha. We need to eliminate him right away, as soon as possible. And Shikamaru's just like, yeah. But it seems as though he pushed Code out of the village. So he could be seen as an ally. And then they kind of shut that down. They're like, no matter the circumstances, he's still a traitor. We have to kill him. And he's like, he's still a fugitive to the land of fire and everywhere else in the world, you know? And I kind of do like the politic talk about how, like, there's a system in place. There's them, the elders, and then there's the land of fire. It's a huger system. And I like how people in authority are, like, stupid, you know what I mean? And old, and they don't get it. They don't grasp the full concept, you know? But I do kind of like that discourse between Shikamaru and the elders and how they kind of, like, talk to one another, basically implying that, like, you know, there's somebody higher than the Hokage or somebody that he has to talk to or whatnot, you know what I mean? It's not just all them. And I do like that. We kind of got a piece of it during the 4th Great Ninja War where it's like there are the feudal lords and then the elders and the people in place and stuff like that. So I feel like it's nice that we got a moment like this. Anyways, this is when the Koharu and Hamura are like, alright Shikamaru, you're going to take your place as the 8th Hokage? You said 3 years would be the amount of time you needed to, like, come to a decision. If you definitively want to be the Hokage, just be the Hokage already, you know what I mean? We're weak right now without, like, an official Hokage. So Shikamaru is just an interim Hokage, filling in for Naruto now that he's not here. For reasons unknown, but he doesn't have his face on the Great Stone Wall. He's not, like, a part of the Hokage group. So it's more so like he's filling in, but he hasn't officially taken the title as 8th Hokage. So then Shikamaru's like, yeah, I'm out of here. And they're like, okay, whatever. So then Shikamaru's in his office, in the Hokage's office, and Ino comes in with, like, some report or data logs or whatever about, like, something to do with the transmission or something like that. So then she comes in, he's like, thank you for this. You know, you're free to go right now. And he's kind of, like, insinuating, like, talk to me up here. And then she leaves the room and she uses her mind transmission jutsu, and they talk, and she's like, that was just an excuse to get me here. What do you need? And he's like, listen, I need to communicate with somebody, but I need to do it off the record. And she's like, you know, that's against regulations. If you do it, I have to know what it is you're exactly going to talk about. I can't just help you out right here. And he says, listen, it's important, and you're the only one that I can ask, please. And she's like, fine. So then we cut to Ada, Kawaki, and Damon, and they're basically talking about, well, Ada's communicating to Kawaki what's going on with these divine tree people, how they're going after specific targets. And she's like, it looks like they're going after Naruto Uzumaki. And then she also adds, and me. And then Kawaki's like, why are they going after Naruto? Why is it him? Like, what is it that these people want from him, you know? And she's just like, I don't really know all the specifics, but that's what they said. And then Damon interjects, and he's kind of like, Kawaki, you know, we're the only ones that actually know that you're lying to everybody and that Naruto Uzumaki is alive. If these divine tree people or the Shinju show up and they start asking questions about where's Naruto Uzumaki, like he's still alive, then isn't everybody just going to figure out that you're a liar? And then Kawaki gives him a look. And then Ada's like, whoa. Shut up, Damon. You know what I mean? Stop being so negative. And then Kawaki's like, I'm out of here. He walks out of the room. And then Ada's like, where are you going? He's like, shut up. If you want to spy on me, you can see what I'm doing with your Senrigan. So he walks out the room, and outside's Mitsuki. He's like, whoa, what are you doing here, Mitsuki? And he's like, you know, I'm designated to protect you and Ada, and I'll do it with my life. You know what I mean? I want to protect you. I care about you. And Kawaki's like, whatever, creep. You know what I mean? He's just like, he's made no friends. He hasn't made friends with Mitsuki or Ada or Damon, like nobody. Just still obsessed over one thing. So anyways, it cuts over to Boruto and Sumire and Sarada, and basically they're kind of in an awkward position where, like, Sarada just hugged Boruto, and now there's a little, like, quietness in the room. She's like, oh, I didn't mean to, like, just jump and hug him right there, but it's been so long since I've seen him, and I have a lot of things I want to ask him, but like, how do I do it now? And then Sumire kind of breaks the ice, and she's like, it's been 3 years, Boruto. You look like you're doing well. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you too, class prez. And then he also goes, and Sarda, I didn't know that you were going to just jump on me. And she's like, can you blame me? It's been 3 years, and I haven't heard anything from you. He's like, yeah, I know. And basically, they start talking about the divine trees or how they've evolved and whatnot. They're kind of, what's it called? He's breaking down some of the information for them so that way they're up to speed. He can, like, understand that, like, they're modified by the Ten Tails. They're modified by code and whatnot. So then, Boruto kind of tells them that, like, nobody's going to know I'm here. I eliminated my chakra presence. We're okay. But Kawaki will notice me soon. And then, sure enough, Kawaki notices that Boruto's in the village. And he's kind of like, I can feel his presence. And Mitsuki gets really interested. He's like, really? Boruto's here in the village, huh? I don't know. Let's go say hi to the guy, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Mitsuki just, like, his ears perk up. And then it cuts back to Boruto explaining about the Ten Tails or the Shinju. He's kind of just explaining that, like, what they are just, like, as the Ten Tails, their instincts are just to eat and devour anything, bite anything with chakra in it. But these new divine trees have, like, you know, another purpose outside of just eating an Otsutsuki or becoming a divine tree. There's something more. They've evolved. And so then we cut to Mitsuki talking to Shikamaru via mind transmission jutsu. And it's basically like, Boruto's here in the village. I need you to figure out where his location is exactly. He's hidden his chakra presence, his chakra signature, and I need to go talk to him right away. And Shikamaru's like, okay. And we also noticed that Mitsuki gave Kawaki like a bite mark on his neck, knocking him out. Like, I don't know if it was just because of the bite or like poison. He just knocked out Kawaki, and he's going after Boruto on his own. So Boruto's telling the girls, he's telling Sarda and Sumire, like, code changed them. Code changed the Claw Grimes, the Ten Tails, into these divine tree people, into the Shinju. He changed them because there's something connected with his karma. It may not be the same as mine or Kawaki's, but it is a karma, something passed on from the Otsutsuki. And that's like how he was able to change them. Something changed. Something crazy happened with them. And then Shikamaru locks into Boruto via mind transmission jutsu with Ino. And Shikamaru kind of goes like, Boruto, I need to talk to you. And he's like, no, don't react. Alright, don't give away that I'm talking to you via mind transmission, okay? We're in a private secure line with Ino Yamanaka, okay? So you have nothing to worry about there. And Boruto's just like, I heard you're the new 8th Hokage. He says, yeah, that's kind of just what people call me, but I'm not officially the 8th Hokage. Anyways, I need to warn you that somebody's coming on their way. And he's going like, what? And that's when the boy Mitsuki arrives and wraps a huge snake around Boruto. And Boruto's kind of like trapped. And then Mitsuki's snake starts going straight for Boruto. But Boruto, he like pelvic thrusts his sword out from like his sheath. It goes out, and then he uses flying Raijin Jutsu to teleport to the sword and then get out of the snake in time before it bites him. And there we see Mitsuki standing there in between the Sarda and Sumire and Boruto. And now Boruto has to get ready to fight. He's like, Mitsuki. And we see Mitsuki has already activated his Sage Mode. He's going all out. He's ready to kill him. And so the Sarda's like, hold on, Mitsuki. Don't do anything. And he's like, shut up. Whatever he's told you, they're all lies. I don't care about that. I'm going to defeat him right here, right now for trying to hurt Kawaki. So then, Boruto kind of like dodges some of the techniques. Well, Mitsuki attacks with his snakes, right? And then Boruto uses purple lightning, which is more than likely taught to him by Sasuke. He uses purple lightning and like deflects the attack. Mitsuki kind of uses like a shadow snake downfall, whatever. He uses like some underground snake attack, and Boruto jumps up in the air and starts flying away. And he tells Sarada that like, I promise I'm going to save Master Sasuke, and I'm also going to protect. And then they kind of like make eye contact. He's like, I'll be back. And then he flies away. And then Mitsuki's kind of like, ugh, he's got to go after Boruto. So then Shikamaru and Boruto are talking back and forth, and he's like, why'd you send Mitsuki if you want me to talk to you one-on-one? Like, doesn't make sense for you to send somebody to kill me if you want to talk with no interruptions. And then Shikamaru has to explain, if I just deny him going after you, then it's going to look weird on me as the Hokage. There are certain things that I have to do to follow to make it seem like we're going after you and I'm still in the position, but without raising any alerts or red flags or whatever. And so Boruto's like, whatever, I'm going out of the village. And then Shikamaru's like, I need you to answer me this one question. And then he says, are you really Uzumaki Boruto? And then Boruto's eyes kind of open up. Ino's shocked as well. And then he's kind of like, it never really occurred to me that my memories might have been changed until Amado said so. Until Amado said it. Because in the last chapter, he talked about how his memories have changed. Because Kawaki has the karma to bring back his daughter and Boruto doesn't. Even though that Omnipotence has switched their places. So, he basically says, if we switch you and Kawaki's places, everything starts to make sense. Everything. From him not having Momoshiki, from you being an outcast to the village, how everything is switched up. It makes sense that once you switch your positions, everything lines up perfectly like it's supposed to be. Kawaki is modified to be like a scientific ninja tool and whatnot, and you lived in the village. It all fits. So then Boruto lands outside the village and he goes, you can still hear me, right? And then Shikamaru's like, yes, Ino can lock into you from 100 kilometers outside of the village. And he goes like, good. I'm going to need to take a little pause right now. I have something I have to deal with. And we noticed that Mitsuki like planted a snake on Boruto to like track his movements. And so that's how he was able to find him. And then Boruto basically says that like, it looks like I'm going to have to get a little rough with you, Mitsuki. And that's where the chapter ends. It's going to be a fight between Mitsuki and Boruto. And it's so cool. That's a hype moment. Because now it's like, they had a little bit of a fight. A little bit of a fight right there. You know what I mean? In front of the Sarada and Sumire. But now, it's going to be one-on-one, outside of the village. Full use of their abilities. It's going to be really cool. And I think it's just a really hype ending to the whole story, to this chapter, especially because they're friends. Well, Boruto cares about Mitsuki and they're friends, but now because situations have changed, he hates them and they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be interesting to see them face off against each other. It's something that I know Boruto doesn't want, but here we are. Anyways, in terms of like moving the story forward, I feel like talking about how Hamura and Koharu want to kill Boruto is like a given, right? Like the village hates him, along with Mitsuki and everybody else there. Shikamaru basically talking to Boruto, breaking protocol, and insinuating that like Boruto is Boruto Uzumaki. He figured it out. He learned it. You know what I mean? I think that's a huge push forward, and getting a little bit more knowledge about the divine trees. How they've evolved from Code's karma, I think is going to be really important. So that's another thing forward. So Boruto being chased and attacked in the village, Shikamaru knowing about Boruto, and then his talk with the higher-ups or the elders and whatnot. Like, I think those kind of like give us a little nudge in the direction that we want to go. Action-wise, I feel like the small little action that we saw between Boruto and Mitsuki was really cool. I thought that was a nice little fight. In terms of characters, the most important one in this chapter was Shikamaru. I really liked how he put the pieces together and he worked with Ino to talk to Boruto and whatnot. I thought that was really cool. There isn't much else we learn about anybody else. We know that Kawaki doesn't make any friends. We know that Mitsuki hates Boruto. We know that Sarada and Sumire are still like friends with Boruto. So nothing about that has completely changed. In terms of like the overall world of Boruto, we know that Coach Karma is definitely to blame for these Shinju, for the Divine Tree people. We know that that's a huge reason why how they were able to evolve into what they are now. And then the ending was just really hype. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really like powerful, the way that these two are now face to face confronting each other. And next chapter, it's going to be a fight. So I'm really excited for it. But let me know what you guys think. Overall, I give the chapter like an 8.1 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. They had like a little bit of action in there. They had a little bit of dialogue between Shikamaru and Boruto. I just like it when Shikamaru's in the story. He's so smart, and you know that when he talks, it's going to be something important. So I really enjoy that, and I think that's cool. So until next chapter, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah.